Meghan Markle has just become the Temu Victoria Beckham. And guess what? She's furious, raging, totally overwhelmed with jealousy by the success of Victoria's Netflix reality series, which has gone to the top of the charts and had huge amounts of promotional money pumped in by Netflix. Everything they didn't do with Love Meghan, because they knew they were not only dealing with a massive flop, but they were dealing with an inauthentic protagonist who wasn't opening up and revealing the truth about her life. Now, of course, the feud between Meghan Markle and Victoria Beckham dates back some years. It dates back to Meghan's time within the royal family, when Victoria had very graciously offered to help Meghan with her fashion and her clothes and sort of finding the right people who could help her out in London. And let's be honest, she needed the help. You know, Meghan needed the help. She's not up there when it comes to fashion and beauty. But then when that was leaked to the tabloids, Meghan immediately blamed Victoria. She even forced Prince Harry to cut David Beckham off, even though he had travelled to Australia with two of his sons for the Invictus Games. So a massive feud has ensued for some time. The Beckhams have, of course, very much aligned themselves with the British royal family, both William and Catherine, and now King Charles and Camilla. Meanwhile, Meghan's simmering obsession has just got weirder. And we've seen it all week in New York City and in Washington, D.C. Whereas, according to Taz pointed out, comparing and contrasting a whole load of these outfits and moments on social media, it's like a scary Temu Victoria Beckham. You just know she's watched every episode of Victoria's Netflix shows. All the latest photos in New York are her with her hand in her pocket, big sunglasses, trying not to smile. Beckham has a stalker now. And Rebuilude's source added, sadly, I need to add to this trend. Victoria, photographed at her Netflix documentary release party on the 10th of October, Mrs. Sussex photographed today. I mean, come on, that's unmistakable. It is completely unmistakable. And P-Dina, as Victoria Beckham secures the cover of Hello magazine solo this week, as she is right up there on the international charts of Netflix, something Meghan never achieved on her own with Love Meghan. There is a simmering rage coming from Montecito at the fact that Victoria can make it in her own right, yet she can't.
You know what is hitting Meghan in the face right now is the fact that Victoria has, like you said, she's made it on her own. She was successful in the girl band, and now she has worked really hard to get success in the fashion world. And Meghan will always be known as someone who married into the royal family. That is where her success stops and ends. She has no independent success with anything that she has done outside of her connection to the royal family. And that infuriates Meghan. And I have to give it off to Victoria because she has earned my respect, something Meghan will never get, because Meghan wants to always be the victim. She doesn't want to show herself as someone who has learned anything. But Victoria, she talks about her failures. She talks about the struggles she has had. We're in her home. We are behind the scenes of her business. We don't see all the good, pretty things. We see the ugly and hard to accept things as well. That is where you get respect from people, when you show the things that don't really necessarily put you in a good light. You earn respect that way because you're vulnerable. People can relate to you. Meghan doesn't want people to see what we all know is happening. She's failed. She doesn't want to talk about her failures. She doesn't want to talk about how, she went wrong here. She wants to blame and accuse people to make herself appear like the victim to get sympathy. And you can't get sympathy from being a victim and being somebody who has problems because they beat up on you, whatever. We don't care. How do you deal with it? How do you deal with when things don't happen in the way you had envisioned them to happen? Meghan can't bring herself to do it, but Victoria can. And she herself said in her documentary how she had to earn the respect. She had to make the mistakes and be told that is a mistake, not being told what you want to hear as a powerful person. She went there with people, and that's why she has people's respect. And Meghan will never get respect because, like I said, her success ends with who she married, and that is it. It goes no further than you married a prince. Anything outside of that marriage is a failure, Meghan, and she can't accept it. That's the problem with Meghan.
She
Reports
can't.
are saying Meghan Markle has an unhealthy obsession with Victoria Beckham. Yes, that Victoria Beckham, the global fashion icon Posh Spice herself. And apparently Meghan's attempts to emulate her style, her brand, even her lifestyle, have officially gone from admiration to embarrassment. Insiders claim Meghan has been trying to outglam Victoria ever since their friendship fell apart. But now the internet's calling her the Temu version of Posh.
She can't. And what's so interesting about Victoria's series, P-Dina, is that it's exactly what Meghan Markle should have done. And I think that's what's going to be so galling for her. If Meghan had actually been really genuine and invited the cameras in and truly shown them how she launched this business as ever, and we saw the disasters, the bad moments, and there was a sense of jeopardy, and you certainly get that in the Victoria Beckham documentary, for example, when she's hosting this Paris Fashion Week show and everything starts to go wrong and it's pouring down with rain and a model's been injured. You know, you see that sense of jeopardy. You even see the tension between her and David at times, and she was prepared to open up. I mean, with her series, P-Dina, we're actually in her home. You know,
Right.
we're seeing her children. It is truly authentic. And I say this as someone that's had my issues with the Beckhams in the past, but this was absolutely what Meghan Markle should have done. Because compared to this Victoria Beckham series, Meghan's With Love looks like a piece of propaganda. We know we're not seeing the real Meghan because we're not even seeing her real home. And I think people now do want that authenticity. So Victoria put it all on the line. And also she was risking quite a lot. You know, she admitted how difficult it was when David Beckham was bankrolling her business. Well, we know Meghan would never do that. She's never been prepared to admit that, let's be honest, she's launched as ever on Prince Harry's money and his inheritance from the damn late
Exactly.
Queen Mother. She's not prepared to admit that. She admitted
Yeah.
that she's had an eating disorder and that she's had huge issues in terms of her public perception and how she's viewed and how she was a laughing stock. Meghan Markle, not prepared to do that. We saw it this week in the interview on stage at Washington, D.C. In Meghan's
And,
world, everything's hunky-dory. Can
right.
you
And
believe?
also I think when she had the fashion show and it was raining, how I would have been beside myself just crazy upset and just like it's all going wrong, but how Victoria managed in real time. You got to see how she was dealing with her staff. You got to see how she dealt with something that was completely out of her control, but she was very calm and cared about her models and was had this very soft-spoken strength about her that is the complete opposite of what we've heard with Meghan and her stories of bullying her staff and losing it and throwing things at people. Victoria just really stepped up and showed you how even in a very difficult situation, she was able to manage that with control and strength in her calmness, something that Meghan has not been able to do with all the stories about her being a bully towards her own staff. I really admired that about Victoria.
Yeah, totally. But again, that is the problem, isn't it, P. Dina? To let the cameras in to that degree, you
Right.
actually have to be comfortable with who you are, and you've got to be comfortable with the way that you behave. And we know from the litany of press reports about Meghan Markle's bullying of her staff that she simply wouldn't allow the cameras in. She can't show the world the real person because the real person is a monster. And it's not me just saying that. You know, we have categorical evidence now with bullying complaint after bullying complaint, with person after person who worked for her and gave their life to her, ending up either mentally damaged, and in some cases, P-Dina actually ending up in rehab, with serious psychological scars because of their time working for her. And that's not to say Victoria Beckham is an angel. I mean, obviously, when you're running a business like that, it's clear that she was putting pressure on her staff and they were working long hours, but they were working towards a common goal. And so I just think it would be impossible for Meghan to truly open it up. And the problem is, what she tried to do with her Netflix show as a result of all of the bad publicity from her genuinely bad behavior was use it as a propaganda tool. And that was just so obvious. We could see through that. So do you remember, P-Dina, all of like the cosplaying with the crew members? Oh, I'm going to give you a chicken wing, because I'm going to show that I'm really lovely to my staff. There was nothing genuine about that at all. And again, to me, where Victoria really got this right was being prepared to show some of the dark stuff. But with Meghan Markle, the dark stuff is so dark and she's still mired in it all. I don't think she ever can go there. And I think it's why every single project has failed, actually. Every single project has failed because what we've never actually got is the real Meghan. Because Meghan knows the real Meghan would expose her to the world.
That's brutal. So how did it get this bad? Remember, Meghan and Victoria were once friends. The Beckhams even attended Meghan's royal wedding in 2018. But fast forward. The friendship's done, the group chats are silent, and apparently Victoria's had enough of Meghan's, shall we say, copycat tendencies. One royal insider told a tabloid that Meghan's constant attempts to outdo Victoria have become cringeworthy. It's like she's trying to build the Posh Markle empire, but without the credibility. And let's talk
And that's
about
why I think Netflix didn't promote her show as much. They promoted Victoria's show
so
because
much.
they saw what she was giving up on her show. She was making some really good television. And to make good television, you have to go to those uncomfortable places because people want to see what it's really like. And Meghan didn't want to go there. And this is why Netflix did not promote her show. She didn't get really the true backing of Netflix because everything that Netflix had suggested to Meghan, she didn't want to do. She didn't want to do the things that Netflix knew was going to get her a really good show. And because she did what she wanted to do, she kept things pretty. She censored a lot, propaganda, pretty world, no problems. Look at me and listen to my happy music. Boring, boring, Meghan Markle. You got to go where Victoria went. And I'm telling you right now, Victoria went to places that made her in her gut not feel good. But she had to show the cameras during those times to make the show. Otherwise, why even do it? Why go through all this if you're not going to really show what it's really like? This is Meghan's failure. She doesn't listen to the people that know. She wants to do what she wants to do. And what you want to do, Meghan, is just boring. You are a drip, girl. Get
So
on
true.
with it.
So true. So true. One day, though, we probably will get the full reality series because there's going to be nothing left. That's the problem. It's the only thing that people actually want. And it will be Kardashian style and it will pimp out the children. And we're probably going to get there. And eventually Meghan will have to say, Harry, you're going to do this. And P-Dina, that actually brings me to Prince Harry because there's been a real debate this week between people who follow the Sussexes about whether Harry actually has to take a lot of responsibility for what has happened, especially over the past few months, and how he constantly stays silent. And a lot of it was sparked by the picture that Meghan actually featured of Prince Harry in her Instagram video, where he's standing there and he's in his track pants around all of her diva-like stuff, and he's smiling. And it's the first indication to some people that, oh my God, actually, maybe you are endorsing her behind the scenes. Like, to us, we're seeing how miserable you are and how unhappy you are. And we're speaking to your friends who say you're unhappy, you're miserable. Even the Daily Mail's Alison Boshoff This week, P-Dina reporting bombshell details about how bad things really are between the couple. So we know that. We know he's desperately unhappy, but maybe behind the scenes, and maybe it has been because he's been gaslit and, bullied and everything for such a long time, but behind the scenes, P-Dina, he seems to in some way be enabling this behavior.
I'm really confused by it. Is this really Harry? Because he's always in the background blurry. That's what I'm seeing. I don't know what that is, but I just know it's a different message than what we see when they're out. I think maybe Harry has been caught in a moment, or maybe she told him, "Hey, put a smile on your face. Let me post this." I just know that they're not in a good spot. The reality is, from the things we've seen them do, what Meghan has done. Look, Harry's not happy. We see that he wants to go back. Okay, maybe he's had a moment, a glimpse of putting a smile on his face, but that's not his truth and reality in his current situation. But Megan wants to try to show that to counter it, to confuse people. We're not confused. I know that people can have different emotions and okay, but that is not the reality of their situation with Megan and Harry. No way. I don't believe it at all.
And I thought that analysis, P-Dina, was pretty spot on.
Mhm. Yeah. So it's a business relationship. I mean, we've seen Harry leave and Meghan at certain times alone, not together, right? So I think it is a business transaction. They are doing certain things that they have to do for the sake of earning money, but that does not speak to the reality of this marriage and their current circumstances because they are losing money. They don't really have money coming in the way that they need. We know Harry wants to go back to the UK. So I find that, Megan's going to do whatever she can when she's behind the scenes telling Harry, look, you got to put a smile on your face, whatever, because she needs to get certain shots to tell a different narrative to paint those pretty pictures because we know that's what she likes to do. So you look at Megan's behavior and you understand what she's about, but we understand human behavior. And we know that Harry is in a predicament with Meghan right now because they are in contrast to their purpose, what they want. And I just don't buy it at all that things are going great for the marriage. Just by the talk of what Meghan was saying and her wanting to be independent and trying to make her own money and not talking about the relationship and the business around Archwell, like the charity work, right? Like Meghan is the kind of person that wants to be in control, independent from Harry. So she's got something over Harry where, she can get him to dance like a monkey if she needs to. That's what she's doing because she uses social media to counter narratives of things that we know to be, the truth. And Megan's not fooling anybody with what she's doing. We are on to her, and time will certainly tell we were right all along. That's how I see it, Dan.
And let's talk about that label, the Temu version. That's social media's way of saying Meghan's trying to copy luxury but landing in discount territory. Victoria's the original, years in the fashion game, a billion-dollar brand, global respect. Meghan, well, she's still trying to find her lane between Hollywood chic and royal sophistication. But right now, it looks more like bargain bin branding than high-end elegance. This
P-Dina,
isn't
I wanted
just...
to ask you too about Meghan and Gloria Steinem because she posted her as part of the Instagram video, and then there were also paparazzi stationed outside the house. What certainly seemed obvious to me, P-Dina, is she wanted this to be public. She wanted people to know.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's what Megan does. She uses her social media to counter the narrative or to show people things that give her a little bit of clout or I guess power behind all the things that Gloria has done. But I think Megan is just trying to stay afloat of all the negativity that is around her. it's swallowing her up, and this is the only way she can try to have some control, is to be able to post these things to counter what people are actually saying and to use people. And this is why a lot of celebrities won't take photos with Megan, because they know Megan will use it to up her profile. It will go on social media. I mean, Gloria is an older woman now. She's done all the things that she's done, and Megan can't really kind of, do the things that she's trying to do with Gloria. Her legacy and career is pretty much at an end. But most people know that you can't take photos with her because that's how she'll use it. That's how people see it. I don't think that Gloria really wanted to be used this way. She probably likes Megan, but we know behind Megan, she's using Gloria, because if you really were loving and caring, like you want us to believe in this social media post, we would see you have these kinds of relationships with other people, like your family, your father. You don't know this woman, this Gloria woman. She's let you into her life, and you're just kind of piggybacking off of her career to make it look like you're a nice person to an older woman. And we know that you're not. So that's why she posts it. It's not for the true reasons that probably Gloria's feeling, right? I think Megan is just a user. She uses people, and people like us, we see it. And a lot of other people that you don't see taking pictures with Megan see it. That's why they'll never take photos with her. Megan has
Totally.
exposed herself. We know
Totally.
who she is, where she's coming from.
But she made sure, for example, that Ed Sheeran was included within the reel, even though it was the back of him. But again, the paparazzi were there, weren't they, P-Dina? And
Mhm.
this to me just felt really tragic, actually. It's like, oh, what? So you've got to try and enhance yourself by hooking up with Ed Sheeran, and then you have to do it at Soho House, which feels so regressive in so many ways. It's like, oh my God, like you really have come full circle, but not in the way that you think you have, because you've come full circle because you're back to hanging out at Soho House and briefing the paparazzi to be outside Soho House to get you coming in and to get your celebrity friends coming in. P-Dina, that's what she was doing when she was looking for her man back in London. I mean, it's quite tragic. Just go out with one of your mates who happens to be a celebrity without briefing the damn paparazzi and having to go to Soho House to do it.
Right. And there was I think something that came out about Ed saying that he was not there even having dinner with Megan.
Well, I think he's
So,
briefing that because
yeah,
it's not good for him. It's
right.
not good for him to be connected to these two. And he will be furious
Mhm.
about the fact that he's been caught up in this. I mean, was it a coincidence? I don't know. I think they probably were meeting up because Megan even included him in the reel. But if it was just a chance meeting, it makes it obviously even more desperate on Megan's part.
Absolutely, because that's what Megan does. She is such a fraud when it comes to all the pictures and things that she posts, because she uses it as propaganda. And I think there's things about her pictures and the things that she does that just look suspect to me. I don't take it at face value at all, because we know she's using it in a way to control a narrative. She's trying to change things up. That's why she calls the paps out to take photos of her. She is trying to use it to create her pretty pictures. She's not even in reality herself when she goes out. The girl is living in an alternate universe as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, people are on to her. Megan is not fooling everybody. She's just exposing herself. The more she does this, the more she is exposed. And I think now Ed knows something is up with this woman. Why was this the article story when that's not what happened? People are on to Megan. She's really failing. As much as she thinks she's succeeding, she's not. She's failing constantly. And it's going to catch up with her eventually.
Well, of course, because Ed Sheeran, who is friends with a lot of the most influential people in the world, P-Dina, knows full well that he can go out for dinner with Taylor Swift, or he can go out for dinner with the princesses Beatrice and Eugenie
Hmm.
without being photographed,
That's right.
without it being leaked to People magazine. Like,
Hmm.
this is why you shouldn't get caught up in their world. Honestly, Ed Sheeran, I know you had a relationship with Harry back in the day, But you're being used, mate. You're being used, and it's not good for you.
This isn't just about clothes, it's about credibility. Meghan's been trying to reinvent herself post-royalty, but every move she makes seems to scream imitation instead of innovation. And the Beckhams? They've made it clear, they're not part of the Sussex circus anymore. The more Meghan tries to prove she's at Victoria's level, the more she exposes her insecurity, and people are noticing. At the end of the day, this so-called unhealthy obsession says a lot. Meghan wanted to be the next global style queen, but the crown already belongs to Victoria Beckham. And trying to outshine Posh might just be Meghan's most embarrassing misstep yet. So the question is Meghan obsessed with Victoria, or just jealous of everything Victoria represents? What do you think? Is Meghan Markle truly obsessed with Victoria Beckham, or is this another media exaggeration? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.